for joining this live stream that we at Bermuda College have been able to put together for you concerning the most important issue as identified by so many of our students, that is financial support. And I am grateful to be joined today by Cree Watson and Miss Nikita Scott from the Bermuda College Career and Counseling Center, because they are the folks in particular that look after that part of the college's work. So what I was hoping to cover really quickly before we got to the Miss Cree and Miss Nikki's part of the presentation is just to sort of set the table as to what we're talking about and how to most efficiently approach this particular topic so that you can get the support that you need. So the big point that we want to emphasize today, as much as anything else, is that you should not let money get in the way. Now, Bermuda College is a community college. That means something. It means a lot of things, but in relation to financial support, it speaks to our principal mandate as an institution, which is to say we are necessarily committed to being as accessible as possible. So if folks show up trying to improve their lives and opportunities and are interested and committed to that notion of self-improvement through education, then we're here to try and make that, to facilitate that, to try and make that happen. So finances should not be the reason you don't come to class. And I'm excited and grateful that I have been at any number of public events, pre-COVID, of course, with our president, Dr. Duranda Green, where she said to groups of community members, from high school students to parents of students to grown working professionals and everybody in between. And she has said that money is not going to be the reason a student doesn't attend this place. If somebody wants to come to Bermuda College, then chances are we can figure it out and we can work out how to get the money looked after accordingly. Now, in addition, your program probably costs less than you think. Now, it's not to say that the tuition isn't real, it isn't there, and it isn't a number that is more than a cup of coffee. But it's almost certainly not as expensive as you think, because one of the great things about Bermuda College is that we, as a community of people, this country has made a commitment to making post-secondary education available to everybody. And the financial implications of that are that we have deeply, relatively speaking, deeply discounted programs available for folks. So, if please don't walk away from this opportunity or these series of opportunities without further investigation and consultation with us here at Bermuda College, because it's probably not as expensive as you might think. Now, the three key factors for you to focus on when figuring this part of the process out: nailing down the specific program and specific class or classes that you want to complete, because each part of the Bermuda College process, each class, each program, each degree, each certificate, each diploma, each of them come with different financial conditions and expenses and costs. So in order for you to most efficiently and effectively plan, you gotta, keep this in mind to nail down specifically what you're trying to do. Because without that specifics, we're just kind of spitballing, and that's no way to effectively plan a project of this scope and size and importance. The other thing to do to plan effectively is to be as precise as possible in figuring out what the real/reasonable estimated length of time and cost for you for completion. Because if, for example, you're a working person, that means that you're not necessarily going to be able to cover more than one or two classes simultaneously per semester, which is necessarily going to extend the duration of time that you're going to be studying. But at the same time, it's going to reduce the semester by semester cost that you're going to be looking at, because instead of having to cover the cost of 5 simultaneous credits, classes and as a result, 15 simultaneous credits, you'll be looking at, between 3 and 6. And that can mean that the process of you paying the tuition obligations you've got is much more manageable. And if you're not thinking with that kind of precision about you and your specific circumstances in relation to you and your specific degree goals, you may think that it's just not possible. But, with that specificity, with that investigation, with that support, we can nail down what can work. And in addition, it's also really important to figure out the specific processes and timelines that you've got to satisfy to get financial support for your specific program or class, because depending on what you want to pursue, there's a bunch of preps involved, and depending on the conditions, you may not be able to get financial support for the stuff that precedes the thing that you want to do. So I guess the overall thing that I want to underline at this point in our conversation is that you got to be as specific as possible. And we are here, myself, and of course the entire team at Career Counseling, Miss Watson and Miss Scott especially, to help you get the precision and detail necessary so that you can get the guidance you need to make the most informed and practical, sustainable decisions. So with all that said, thank you for listening to me so far, and welcome now to Cree Watson to take it to into the kind of detail that we've been discussing. And she is our financial support officer, and I am deeply grateful for Cree's participation today. So, hey, Cree, what can you tell us?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cree Watson. As Teo stated, I'm the Intake and Financial Aid Administrator, and I'm just going to run over a few things. Feel free to put anything in the comment section, any additional questions you have for me. So on this first slide, it's just our email address if you need to reach out to our committee. It's just a committee of Ms. Scott and I, Nikita Scott and I. The email address is financialsupportservices@college.bam. Iago, how do I click to the next? And if you need, send me one. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, maybe I'll do it. Okay, so applicant criteria. You must possess Bermudian status. Normally, like in the back of your passport, it has that this holder possesses Bermudian status. I'm sorry. You can also receive that if you are supposed to Bermudian, but it'll have to be after the 10 years and you receive your status. You must be registered for the upcoming semester, which will be the fall semester, which begins August 30th. You must possess a 2.0 GPA. This is mainly for students who are continuing with us. New students, they would automatically receive based on the other criteria. I'm sorry, I keep saying it. And then you must complete and submit an online funding support application. So this is the eligibility. We basically look at your monthly household balance, which will be the incomes in your household minus the monthly expenses, the number of persons in the household, the total number of persons in the household, and estimated tuition costs. So like Teo said, it's not too much, but it is $155 per credit. So what we do, we look at the amount of credits that you're taking and times that by the 155, and then we also factor in lab fees as well. Then it's the estimated education cost that I just discussed, and we focus on the impact on your monthly budget. We factor in whether or not you're a recipient of the government financial assistance. And then we also factor in if it's any unemployment situations going on in the household, any loss of a major income, unexpected expenses, that's like loans or outstanding bill payments, etc. So accessing the application, it's pretty simple to access. What you do, you go to www.college.bam and you'll hit menu in the top left corner. My apologies. Then it's under financial services. It's under the admissions category. And then you'll click application for funding support. That's also in the left margin. The information that's required for completing the application. So you must have the applicant student ID number. You'll need all the details, name, date of birth, all of that information. I'm mainly speaking for parents that are looking to complete the form on behalf of their students. Like I said, it's the master education course. Even if you have roughly the amount of credits that you're registered for or going to register for, you can type that in. And like I said, it's times the 155, which is per credit. And then you also have to put in layup fees. The monthly household income, that will be your actual take home. So that includes the salaries, pensions, any rental incomes, anything of that sort. Monthly expenses, you'll have to include all of your monthly expenses for the household. That's rent, mortgage, utilities, loans, any outstanding payments of credit association, etc. These are the dates and deadlines. We did them specifically for the 2021 through 2022 academic year. So every year it opens April 1st. We try to keep that date. We try to stick to that date. And then the date for the closing might change. So we try to close it roughly the Wednesday before courses start. So like I said, courses start August 30th. So this year it will close August 25th, 2021. And then for the spring semester, it will reopen November 1st, 2021, and then close December 1st, 2021. For the spring semester, those dates are actually concrete. So each academic year, those dates will stay the same. And this is just information on how to contact financial support services. Like I said, Ms. Scott or I, you can send an email to financialsupportservices@college.bam, or you can register to join one of our Money Mondays. So Money Mondays are basically sessions where students pop in and ask questions about financial support. They're offered every Monday. What you'll do is you'll download the BC app if you're a current student, and you can actually register for those sessions through the BC app. And then we also have this link as well where you can schedule a one-on-one with Ms. Scott or I or myself. And that's it.
Thank you, Crazy. I appreciate you. So Layla asked a question. Does it make a difference if you're a full-time or part-time student?
Okay, Layla. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter the amount of credits. Previously, what we did was we'll have it situated where if it was just for full-time students, or it was anything above 6 credits. But now the way it's done, you can register for one course and still apply for funding.
Okay, cool. That is helpful.
And we also support anywhere from 30 to 80% tuition.
30 to 80%.
30 to 80%.
Okay. Is there like an average that people can expect? Or is it completely individualized support?
It's individualized because it's based on their current situation.
Okay, I got you.
So like I said, we factor in their income minus the expenses. And then we also factor in how much their education cost is as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. If anybody else has any other questions, please pop it into the chat. What I was hoping we could do right now, Cree, is just so folks had an idea of where to get some of that information before they come talk to us, so they can inform themselves, is the Bermuda College catalog itself. Which I'm sharing now. Now you can get this just very similarly to what Cree was referencing. If you go to college.bm, right in the top left, there's a menu drop down, and the BC catalog pops right up after you click that. It's a PDF, 146 pages. Now in the where is it? Yeah. So right here in the table of contents, you've got tuition and lab fees on page 22 through 29. And this is the stuff that is especially significant when it comes to sort of plotting out exactly what you're going to be dealing with as far as cost. And Cree, please, interrupt or add as I'm going along. So here we go. The tuition fee section starts here, and all like the different relevant fees. So that there's a graduation fee when you get to that point, the application fee when we get to that, then transcript fees, etc. But the tuition schedule. So, like Cree mentioned, every credit is $155. Now, in the academic space for the university, for the associate's degrees that you're going to want to transfer to university complete for your bachelor's and stuff, almost every class is a credit class.
Mhm.
And the majority of classes, credit classes, are 3 credits, which is to say $465. Some of them will be 4. Very few of them will be less than 3. But most of them will be this. And for the average student, particularly those that are fresh out of high school, they'll be taking around between 5 and 6 classes per semester. Or I should say, like, what would you say is the average, Cree?
So, what I was gonna say is, in order to be a full-time student, it starts at 12 credits and then it goes up. So, if some students coming straight out of high school, they might just want to take the minimum to stay on their parents' insurance. So they might take like 12, anywhere from 12 to 15 credits, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, about 12 to 15 credits.
Right. So as you can see here, that means that you'd be looking at, for just tuition, $1,860 at the minimum for the average student, up to $2,325 for the single semester. Now,
And that doesn't include
lab fees, right? And it also does not include financial support. Like, this is just what the tuition cost is out front. Now, the lab fees you can find a little further down. So they start here on page 28, lab fees. So if your student or you are taking classes with these codes that fall under these subdivisions, like the majority of the technical education stuff in particular, or the lab classes, there are additional fees attached to them. So if the student is studying plumbing and they're taking PLM 1102 conduit fabrication, there's a $35 lab fee for that. For the HVAC classes, all of the HVAC classes, there's $35 lab fees attached. For motor vehicle technology and for culinary arts as well. So when you're, thinking about pursuing your qualification with Bermuda College, this is the part of the catalog that can help you nail down exactly what your big picture budget is gonna end up looking like. And again, Cree and her team can absolutely support you in being as precise as possible with this. But as you're starting your process, this is where you can get the relevant information. Now,
Quickly too, Dolores
Mhm.
Armstrong asks, are the lab fees per class? Yes, so they are per class. So if you're taking, say, 2 or 3 technical education courses, depending on if it's the 35 or the 80, it will be times 2 or 3.
Mhm.
For the science, it's $50 per lab, and then for the nursing, it's $175. So it is definitely per course that you're registered for.
And they can kind of add up a bit, like not in the sort of way that can necessarily break the financial viability of the degree, but it's really important to keep it in mind, particularly for the healthcare centric pathway, like the nursing pathway, because the lab fees for all of the nursing classes are not insubstantial. As you can see, the $175 fee for nursing 1101 through 2251. The reason that I'm grateful we have the chance to underline this point is because these are the kinds of fees that if you don't necessarily know about them in advance, you can be hit with some severe like sticker shock after the fact. And it's just better if folks are fully aware and familiar with what they're being confronted with, before they get like further along in the process. Does that make sense?
I think it is. I think
Okay, good.
we don't have any comments.
Okay, good. I'm glad. So the one thing that I wanted to ask you, Cree, about, and again, thank you for everybody that have been putting their questions into the chat. Please continue to do so. I wanted to ask about the non-credit financial support because there's a collection of folks.
I have it ready for you.
Oh, wonderful! I'm glad because there's a
115. Because I figured a lot of people would have had questions about this. So
okay.
we don't cover all of the PACE courses, but we do cover a few of them. Is page 115.
Hold up. Oh wait, no, it's 115 in the actual document, but not in the PDF.
Okay.
There we go.
I was gonna say, no, I'm blind, but I thought that's at 115. Okay, so looking at this page, this has the list of all the PACE courses as they're categorized.
Mm-hmm.
Under the category external certificates and professional designations, we do cover the facilities management course, which is the BOMI,
Mm-hmm.
the hairdressing, which is right beneath that, and we do cover the management, which is the AMA courses.
Mm-hmm.
So out of those ones, we cover those three.
Mm-hmm.
We cover MSVU, which is the external bachelor's degree program.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also cover the bartendering,
which is here under the short training and exam review courses.
Yes, we cover nursing assistant as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that her dressing right? Yes. So those are the ones that we cover for PACE.
Okay. So EMT, no.
So it's not all of the courses, but it is.
Okay.
Some.
Cool. That's good. So let the ones that we do cover. The BOMI.
I think we're breaking up a bit.
You think?
Okay.
We're stuttering a little bit.
Teo.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hi. I think we lost you. Okay, you're back.
Well, I'm back. Okay. Cool. I'm sorry about that. I was saying we could run through them just to nail it down for everybody again. The PACE courses that the financial support team can help you with are the BOMI course, the City and Guilds hairdressing, the AMA
management,
the American Management Association General Management Certificate, the bartending course, the certificate for nursing assistants,
and the MSVU.
And the MSVU external, like the bachelor's degree track.
Yes.
And that is significant because some of these that Cree has just referenced they can be a little pricey, particularly the MSVU and the nursing assistant certificate. And we also know that the nursing assistant certificate is especially not just popular, but important because, the global trend in the need for qualified healthcare workers, particularly after the pandemic. So there's a lot of people that are seeking this qualification. I get as many emails and calls and outreach about the nursing assistant certificate as anything that we offer at the college. So, knowing that people can get financial support for this is really, really important. So I appreciate you laying that out. Yeah. So does anybody have any other questions at all about stuff when it comes to financial support?
And like I said, if it's anything, you can always shoot us an email at financial support services at college.bm, or you can schedule a one-on-one appointment. What I can get Taya to do is actually
Mhm.
email the PowerPoint to everyone. That way you have the information on hand and you'll be able to click the links to access the application or to schedule an appointment.
That would be super helpful. There's one thing that I know we haven't sort of emphasized up until this point, Cree, I'm hoping you can echo. One thing that I've been confronted with over the years in supporting students into Bermuda College is that there's a whole bunch of folks that believe that they're not eligible for financial support. Like they're not the kind of person that would receive it. And what I understand is that that's generally not true. Like there are very few people that basically, if you're not independently wealthy, then financial support could be something for you.
Right.
Is that accurate?
I would say so. It doesn't hurt to apply. Like I said, what we do, we factor in basically the income minus the household. Just because you make over 100 grand a year, that doesn't mean that you can afford to come to Bermuda College. I would say still apply because you can have additional expenses that others do not have. You can be taking care of a loved one. You can be, your funds can be going elsewhere. You can have other children away in college that becomes pricey and everything like that. Are you talking about over the amount of years, Mr. Norris, or? So basically, we did focus on that, but lately we haven't. So if it seems as if you need help, we will assist. Like I said, we offer anywhere from 30 to 80%, but we don't focus on how mumuch money you actually make or how much money you take home.
Right. Like how much free money you got.
have. Yes.
Yeah. Because we're not in a position to make judgments about people's lifestyles.
Exactly.
Like that's not our role.
And like I said, you might have additional expenses. You might be taking care of two households. We don't know your situation. So I would say as long as you lay everything out and you're as honest as possible. If we have additional questions, we might ask for additional information or for you to show proof of any bills or any outstanding loans, etc., like that. But like I said, it's basically we do your income minus your expenses, factoring and education cost. And we just basically take a look at your financial situation, how much you can afford.
Mm-hmm. And the financial support team, I know this from experience over the years in guiding students to go and talk to you guys. Like you're not trying to turn people away. Like you're trying to figure out how you can help. And that's a really reassuring thing. For everybody that's listening and watching, please keep that in mind when thinking about this. This is the financial support team in particular at Bermuda College is a genuinely safe, protected space for you to come and seek help. And also with that in mind, it's really important to underline the commitment that the financial support team takes to honoring and protecting individual students' privacy, because they're the only folks, Miss Cree and Miss Nikki, they're the only folks that deal with any part of any of the documents or information about people's, nobody else on campus has any access or is able to see anything. So
and like I said, if it's any point where we ask for additional information, there's immediately, once we review them, they're immediately returned to you or they're shredded. So no one has,
nobody's materials is sort of sitting around for anybody to interfere with for any extended period. It's not that kind of environment. So please trust the process. Your privacy will be respected and honored.
Okay, so Layla has a question basically about if the monthly budget is not the same from month to month. Are you referring to salaries? Meaning each month is different based on salaries?
Or it may be just take home, she might be in the service industry or like an independent business owner or something.
Can you just clarify that for me, Lynn?
Yeah. And then Mrs. S just shared in the chat that they are looking for a one-on-one consultation, which we absolutely can provide. I would suggest, it sounds like, based on your inquiry, that it would make sense to maybe start with me, to just sort of set the broader table as to what's available at Bermuda College. And then depending on the outcome of that conversation, you can transition to see CRE and the financial support team, if it gets to that stage, which is entirely like normal and standard and fine. But if that sounds good, Mrs. S, we can correspond. You can shoot me an email, because I'm embarrassed to say I'm not, based on your screen name, I'm not exactly sure who you are, as far as the folks that have signed up. But yeah, so if you could start with emailing me at tdill@college.pm, and then but Miss Watson's email is cwatson at college.pm.
I'm thinking for Layla, what we might do, because what I normally tell students is,
oh, okay. I see.
Okay, so what I would say is complete it based on so you wouldn't factor in August yet. I would say complete the information or the form based on your current expenses. So don't factor in the camp.
Okay. And yes, please, Jakia, you can email me at tdill@college.pm.
I'll type it.
Oh, well done. Thank you, Cree. Now, one thing that we want to also underline as being essential to this process that Cree mentioned, but I want to make sure that folks hear it at least 3 times as we make our way through this process. In order to successfully apply for financial support, you've got to be registered for your classes. So you have to have already, if you're going through the application process, have your application completed, have taken your CPT, gotten your acceptance letter, had your counselor meeting, and had your schedule set up for the upcoming fall 2021 semester. At that stage, you can apply for financial support. Like that's the only sequence that it can work, because if you're not registered for classes, we don't know how much money you're going to need.
I've also been telling students there, because some students just want to get the process started. Mm-hmm. So yes, I am saying get registered. But for some students they've handed in their application and they're kind of in a waiting situation, mm-hmm. I would say that you can actually go on. The way we have the application design is you can go on, you can start the application and everything. Like even if you start putting in your information and all your income, your expenses, it's a save button on the right-hand side that actually sends you a link to your email address. So once you go to your email, you can always click that link to access your application. So we will see it in incomplete status, but you'll still be able to go back and access. So we wouldn't be able to make any changes to your application if it's in that state. Mm-hmm. So you see what I mean? I mean, it's still I would say still register first, but for this, there's that in a waiting situation, you can actually start it, but it wouldn't be considered complete until you go in and submit the application.
Right. But it just makes sense to do what you can
first, yes.
As much as you can. Okay, I got you. So yeah, please, like don't wait on getting yourself set up for classes. I mean, it's the beginning of June, so we do have a little time. It's not like I don't want you to move like there's this impending sense of doom, like, oh, if I don't get it done this week, then everything is going to fall apart and I'm going to miss out the opportunity to get the support. But we do kind of want you to move with a sense of urgency.
Yes.
And Cree knows. Yeah,
See, sooner you get the application in, the better.
yeah.
Because, that way we know how much funds we're working with as well. But
Mhm.
the sooner you get it in, the better.
Yeah, because on a really baseline level, the longer like they're not operating with infinite resources.
Yeah.
So it is possible that if you move too slowly, they will not be happy about this, but it's possible they could say like, I'm sorry, but we're out of support, like that's possible. And that would be a terrible shame that you missed out on the opportunity to come and get all looked after, just because you didn't move as quickly as you could have done. Um, oh, so
This one for Teo.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jakia just asked, do you know how long admissions will take after you apply to join a program? The turnaround is ordinarily like within 2 weeks in my experience, but the thing that I know can slow the process down for students is when they haven't submitted all the required materials. Um,
CPT.
in particular, CPT is part of that. So like the list of things that you are required from you to complete your application are the application form with the medical disclosure form attached to it, proof of citizenship, the application fee, your transcripts, and depending on your transcripts / prior academic history, you got to sit the computerized placement test, the CPT. For most people, like there are some people that are exempt from the CPT, but that's not the standard. Like the status quo is that everybody's got to take the CPT. So if you haven't supplied any of those things, your acceptance letter can't be generated. And if your acceptance letter hasn't been generated, you won't be guided to have your counselor meeting, and you will not be guided in that meeting to register for your classes, which means that you can't complete your financial support application. So if you're currently in the waiting zone, the first thing I would suggest that you do is just to look back over that checklist of admissions requirements and see if you're missing on anything. If you haven't supplied something yet, then get that in, because that'll make it more likely that your application will be processed immediately. And if you have submitted everything that is required and you've been waiting for more than 2 weeks, please just reach out to me directly, and then I'll check with Miss Simons, our admissions officer, to see like where the holdup is. And I'm happy, excited to do that for you. Yeah, does that make sense, Cree?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I need reassurance.
No worries.
Okay. Jakia says she has to take the CPT. She already did the application. You got it all except the CPT. Great. So now you just got to do the CPT. And the CPT, you can book that through Miss Simons at the admissions office. So if you email admissions@college.pm, right where you emailed all your other documents, the form, et cetera, she can give you dates available for the CPT. And the CPT, it normally runs Mondays through Thursdays in the mornings. It is offered some weekends, but not too often. It like once a month, about, or more often than that. Do you think, Cree?
Teo, I have no idea. I'm
You're not
sorry.
sure? Okay. No, because I know like sometimes you
I'm not
used
sure
to.
because I haven't seen, anything lately to see what
Okay.
they've been offering it.
No, I just assume you know everything. That's all.
Used to.
Okay. So thank you, Jakia, and I'm glad that helps you out. Okay. So does anybody else have any other questions? Because I'm wondering if there's anything else we got to really like nail down for folks, like underline as far as key
Mhm.
points.
Am I still share my screen? Do you know?
Oh no, I am now, but
Okay.
I
So
think
what
you
I
can
can do,
move it.
I'm going to just. I'm thinking, Teo, I pulled up the wrong PowerPoint. That wasn't the up-to-date PowerPoint.
Oh really?
But I'll send you guys the fancy one.
Okay. Oh, Mrs. S asked if she can have the we're gonna send out the PowerPoint that Miss Cree shared for us, the updated one, to all of the people that have signed up for today's session. And honestly, anybody that's watching on Facebook or YouTube, I can, if you email me at tdill@college.pm, I can get it to you as well. For everybody that signed up for today's session, I've got your email address, or well, if you signed up by Facebook, I wouldn't have your email address there. So, oh, great, thank you.
That's actually the appointment link. And then
Yeah, that's super helpful.
I can type our email address too, if you have any.
Yeah, but if folks signed up for today's session via Facebook, I'm embarrassed to say I'm not sure if I can share a PowerPoint on Facebook. Like, I don't know if Facebook Messenger works where you can attach PowerPoint files. So I guess if you're interested in getting the PowerPoint, I'm going to send it to everybody that I have email addresses for. And if you would like it, just email me at the email address we are either corresponded on, or just the one I popped into the chat for you right there. So Cree, did you want to share your screen again? No, I just thought you.
Oh no, I was actually just going to go to the PowerPoint that way I can put the direct link in there for them to schedule.
Okay.
One-on-one consultations.
I got you.
With either Nikki or myself.
I got you. Okay, cool. One thing quickly that we can do is, because most of the vast majority of people that are seeking financial support are seeking associate's degrees or academic qualifications. In the catalog, the degrees are all listed on page 33 of the catalog. It says 36 of the PDF, but it's 33 of the actual document. So as you can see here, it's the Associate of Arts subcategory, the Associate of Science subcategory, Applied Science, all listed. Now, if you go to your degree of choice, it's got the credit count, which is to say the cost, right here for each degree. And the reason that they fluctuate, which is where it says like total credit 61 to 63, and for the Associate of Arts and Art and Design, for the Associate of Arts, total credit 61 to 63. There's one, the Associate of Arts and Science has a pretty broad split, 64 to 77. So like a 13 credit difference in potential cost, which is 13 times $155. So that's not nothing. The reason that there's such a big gap in costs is because you have these electives. So you see in the Associate of Arts and Business Administration, you have an elective of your choice. And then you have another 2 electives of your choice, actually another 3 electives of your choice, along with these humanities or natural science or social science electives. It's possible that you could choose 4 credit classes, like natural science classes, for each of these electives, which would mean that the overall cost is going to be higher than it would be for 3 credit classes, which would be non-lab classes, basically. So it's important to keep this in mind, because it's impossible to, at this stage, absolutely tell you exactly what the total cost of your degree is going to be, because we don't know at this stage which electives you're going to pick. Like we can tell you what most people tend to pick or what subcategories people tend to pick from, but it's like that level of precision just is not going to be available, because every individual's process and pathway is unique. So we got to kind of ballpark it a little bit.
And then also we pay per semester as well. So we basically we're not going to know the overall. We basically deal with each semester as it comes, because sometimes you might have to retake a course, or if you're not comfortable with the grade, you might have to retake a course, or you might have to, everybody's path is different, is what Tay is trying to say.
Yeah, right.
So we can't necessarily give you a lump sum of your degree is going to be X amount more per semester.
Like that, we can do pretty
That's a good
specific.
question. Okay, so Mrs. S asks, do you have to keep applying each semester? So for financial support, if you receive in the fall, you'll automatically receive for the spring semester. So that'll be the January semester. But once the January semester is over, you will have to reapply for the following fall semester. So technically, it's each academic year you'll have to reapply. So like I said, it's open from August. I'm sorry, why I keep that in April 1st, and it closes August. It's the Wednesday before classes begin. It is in August, but you will have to apply each academic year. But if you receive in the fall, you'll receive in the spring. Does not cover the summer semester.
Also, I know that you mentioned this at least briefly in your initial presentation, but can you explain what can cause somebody to be disqualified from future financial support?
If they are a returning student, you mean?
Well, let's say they've got it one semester and then they apply for it in a subsequent semester. Like what could happen during that semester that could disqualify them from re-upping, basically?
A 2.0 GPA.
Okay. And that is in letter grade terms.
A C, like you have to receive. Well, I know some of them, like even if you got all B's and one D, that might be okay. It depends. It's calculated.
Okay. But
so
it's a
say
hard,
that you get,
like
yeah.
2.0.
So yeah, it's 2.0.
Okay, cool. So the what that means is, in practical terms, in order to keep getting financial support, you've got to hold up your end of the bargain and pass your classes. And that is a reasonable ask, we think, because if you're not passing your classes, then there may be, not even there may be, there is another person that will do that, that would make better use of the support, basically.
So Mrs. S, yes, it's basically a C and up, but you have to, it's basically calculated. So say that you go in and you got one B and two Ds, or sometimes you might just get underneath the surface if you get like C minuses and one B, or so it's calculated. I believe that's in the catalog as well.
It is, yeah.
But the only time when it becomes a little sticky is when you're dealing with the amount of credits. So sometimes it might be a 4-credit course, which weigh a little heavier than a 3-credit course. But I know it's definitely in the catalog, the grading scale.
Yeah, it's in the beginning of it, like
14, page 14.
Okay, I'll get it right now.
So what we have to do, we have to actually manually calculate it to ensure that it's a 2.0 or above. But yes, if your grades are all overseas, then we know it's over a 2.0.
Right. Like that's what you should be shooting for at minimum. And for another reason as well. That is, in order to transfer your credits from Bermuda College to universities overseas, the minimum grade that's required to make that possible is a C. So like we're always grateful and excited when our students graduate and enter the working world immediately, but we're especially excited when folks transfer to universities overseas. So like it's just in everybody's interest, yours in particular, if you can maintain a C, because that'll guarantee you access to financial support, guarantee you access to your transfers overseas and completion of an undergraduate degree and further, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yada, yada, yada.
You have to also pay attention to that university's grading scale as well, because some of them, they might not have the C+, C-.
Right. Yeah.
Scale. It might just be C across the board, which means everything within the C+ and C- would fall under C. So
right. Yeah, but again, like that level of precision, the good folks in the Career and Counseling Center can help you nail that down too, as part of the support that each student receives, figuring out like what their university of choice, like how it works and what it can do for them, etc. Well, you can collect the catalog, Mrs. S, from us at Bermuda College in person. If you come to the College Center, go to the second floor and approach Miss Howes, our lovely receptionist. She can hand you one or a couple of catalogs. But as I mentioned, you can get it yourself on the college's website. If you visit college.bm, top left-hand corner, there's a menu drop-down box. Click that, and the Bermuda College catalog is like the fifth or sixth thing listed in that drop-down menu. And the catalog is super useful. It's a little bit like dense and inaccessible, if I'm honest, for people that aren't like familiar with the college and are like how the institution moves. But it is the encyclopedia for this place. Like everything that we do, everything, all of our policies, like everything that the college is in the catalog. So if there's any question you want answered, obviously we'd love it if you call us first, but you can find the answers inside the catalog. So yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to mention or ask you about, Cree, because we figured out like what can disqualify somebody from financial support. We emphasize that everybody is, in principle, everybody that's not independently wealthy is somebody who could get financial support. Reminded folks that in order to get your financial support for your credit classes, you got to register for your classes. So please don't wait on that, because waiting on that can jeopardize your ability to get financial support. Maybe that is it. Maybe that was everything I had. But it's good because I just repeated everything, so everybody was able to hear that too. Yeah. But so I guess if nobody else has any other questions, I suppose we're pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. I left my email in the chat, our financial support services email in the chat, and then it's also the appointment scheduling link if you wish to have a one-on-one with Miss Scott or myself.
And if anybody is interested in the conversation that would precede the conversation with Miss Cree and Miss Watson and Miss Scott, then I'm grateful and happy to be able to have that with you. And my email is in the chat, but I'll say it again: tdill@college.bm. And the majority of you I've already corresponded with in order for you to get access to the conversation today. And I'll be hitting you all up just to say thanks for your participation. And if in that, thank you correspondence, if you want to book an appointment, we can do it then as well.
And also send the PowerPoint as well.
Oh, yes. And Cree's going to send that to me as well, to pass along to all of you. You are very welcome, Denoris. And I am, as I have been saying ever since, and will continue to say, I am deeply grateful to Cree, because she is my homie, she's my friend. And one of the reasons she's my friend is because she's really, really, really good at looking after students. Like I trust her with the people that come into my space looking for support. I trust her as much as anybody on campus to make sure that they're straight. So I can guarantee every last one of you in the room with us now watching this stream, Cree and Miss Nikki will look after you. Like, so, if you're feeling stressed, vulnerable, confused when it comes to the financial pressures you're experiencing, to the point where it's discouraging you from even considering this whole college thing, don't let that get in the way. Like, just reach out to us, because the team, our financial support team, they are here to make it so that you understand that more things are possible than you may have accepted before. And I know they've done it for hundreds of people over the years. I mean, it's a life-changing thing. And if you feel like your life is in need of some changes, come holler at us. We can probably help.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Cree. And thank you to everybody that joined us. Again, hit us up if you need one-on-one consults, and we will look after it. So I guess that'll do it. We will talk to you soon, and thank you for joining the stream.
Thank you.
Hey, bye-bye.
Bye.